did you know that if you have followers that have Amazon Prime memberships, they can subscribe to your channel for free and you still get the money from that subscription. So basically it's free money.
My concern is with the transition into streaming, how are we taking into account the licensing? What's going down? It's DJ Payne 1. He's Dame Ritter. This is the Music Entrepreneur Club podcast. This is the first time ever that we've streamed the Music Entrepreneur Club podcast live. I don't know how that affects audio. I don't know how that affects video. I don't know how that affects overall morale, but we're going to find out shortly. How are you feeling, Dame?
Overall morale, I'm feeling good. Yeah, excited about this one, man. We're still just trying to figure things out. What episode is this? Are we like 40?
We're
something?
43. We're midlife crisis.
Well, I think that's important to say because it's like we are 40 something episodes in and we're still trying to figure this out. We're still, utilizing different platforms.
We're still moving.
Exactly. And, I think that's kind of one of the messages that I want to get across to artists today is like, look, we've been doing this for 40 something consecutive weeks, like haven't missed a week, right? Like what as an artist or a producer have you been doing for 40 something consecutive weeks, right? Not stopping, but figuring out different ways. This is our first time that we're live streaming the podcast, right? We haven't done that before. We're live streaming to Twitch, we're live streaming to YouTube, to our Facebook group, and I don't think very many people get past week 3 when they say they're going to do something weekly, right? That like, or 4 or 5, when we're 40 something. So this is, just kind of shows our dedication, our commitment, and just evidence to people that we're doing the same thing that we ask them to do, right? We're not doing anything different because we're a business, they're a business, we're a brand, you're a brand. Like this is just something that we committed to figuring out. So just thought I should highlight that,
But for the sake of argument, the Instagram comments do say we don't know what the hell we're talking about. So we just want to be transparent here.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I talk out of my ass on my personal page.
You have some weirdos on your personal page though, Denver. Like every time you post anything, it's like all these fragile racists come out of the woodwork and man, I can't believe I supported Funk Volume for 5 years, man. That's why you're broke now, Dame, because you're racist.
Let me take that back. I don't talk out of my ass. I speak more emotionally and off the cuff, off my person, but I definitely don't. I don't think I ever just speak out of my ass. So that was kind of the wrong way to say it. But the stuff on the MEC is based on experience. I still work with artists, almost on a daily basis. I educate myself on what's happening. I continue to read. I continue to have conversations with very smart people. And if we don't know, on a particular topic, like for example, we had Karen Allen, who's a Twitch expert, live streaming expert, join our live MEC session last Monday. I'm not a Twitch expert yet, so I'm not going to talk as if I am. I have some live streaming experience, so I can speak from that, but where our experience stops, our Rolodex picks up, like our the people that we bring in to talk to guests, like that's where they pick up. And so that, people get to hear from voices that, where our experience may be limited. And I know you do the same thing in the Beat Club. So join our live sessions every Monday and Tuesday. They've been really dope. They've been very insightful. And we've been live streaming those too during the quarantine. I don't know if we're going to do that forever. But since everybody's quarantined, we are going to live stream them. The benefit of being a member, however, and you can talk to the benefit of being a member in the B Club, but the benefit of being a member is that you actually get to join the Zoom session and interact if you have a question. So that's going to be, the benefit of still being a member of the Music Entrepreneur Club. So why don't you talk to folks about what the benefit of being in the B Club is before we talk about today's topics?
Well, I'm curious about what you said, that you're not a Twitch expert yet. So at some point, you're going to be a Twitch expert. You're going to be up there playing Call of Duty and shooting a Glock into a can of supplements and getting banned.
Well, I think that was part of the misconception, right? Is that you know, a lot of artists and producers think that Twitch is just for gamers. You know, I think that was one of the myths that we had to dispel like right up front, and then that's not the case. Shit, Kenny Beats had like 9,000 people watching him the other day, and he was making beats, you know, issuing challenges, engaging with his fans. So you know, I think that was kind of like first and foremost, let's dispel that myth. Right. And, you know, I think Karen Allen spoke to the fact that it is a community to help grow an audience. Like, yeah, you can pull your audience over if you already have a big audience, but there's also an audience on Twitch, and you can actually build your fans on Twitch as well. So if you didn't check out that last MEC session, it's worth listening to, because it was packed full of gems and a lot of shit that I didn't even know about Twitch. Like, so for example, this was one of the gems. Like, did you know that if you have followers that have Amazon Prime memberships, they can subscribe to your channel for free, and you still get the money from that subscription. So basically it's free money. So if you have fans that are Amazon Prime members, you have to educate them that is a perk of their Amazon Prime membership, that they get a free subscription to a channel, and that subscription, that money will still go to you, and that's no additional money out of your fans' pocket. I didn't know that. That's dope.
I definitely didn't know that. So yeah, B Club is dope. I'm overwhelming myself because we got a bunch of new members, and there are days when I'll collaborate with all the members who are logged on to a session. So it's really interactive. We started a YouTube channel just to put into practice a lot of the marketing and SEO that we discuss on sessions regularly. There's a lot going on at B Club. We do everything from beat reviews to, like I said, collaborations, to bringing people on to give advice to the producers. We have the occasional guest speaker, because I don't want it to just be all, you know, lecture based. But our most recent one was S1, you know, 3-time Grammy winning producer. Everybody knows who he is if you're in the production community. But that being said, sign up, musicentrepreneur.club.com, choose B Club, and try it out. So just try it out. Try it out for like a couple weeks and see what you think.
And there's a free month code. Just using the code MEC for free. So MEC, the number 4, free. You get a free month. And if you don't have the funds right now, just watch our sessions on, you know, like I said, we're streaming them live on Twitch or in our Facebook group. You know, we're just trying to get as much exposure as possible, because I really feel like what we're doing is positive, and it really helps people, you know, build their business and grow their careers. So lock in with us if all you've seen is the pod, or if all you've heard or seen is the podcast so far. So anyway, Payne, what are we talking about today, man? We that was already like 10 minutes. What are we talking about today?
So obviously we're still on quarantine. It's affecting people in different ways. There is something called artist relief. I don't know. I forget how much money there is in the overall fund, but it's an artist relief fund to assist financially with artists who are full-time artists and who can establish their need and establish that due to the pandemic that they are, you know, no longer making any kind of income off of their art, and they are full-time artists to begin with. And so check out artistrelief.org, and at the bottom of the page, you can click and sign up to see if you're eligible and see if they can get you some money. Because, you know, there are a lot of us who, as artists, suddenly don't have any income, whether we're visual artists and there are no gallery nights anymore, or we're folk musicians and we can no longer tour or play out, or we're, you know, like Tina, for example, we had on, she sings in a band and all of her events are canceled, obviously. So many of us need relief, and there are a lot of options there. We did talk not last week, but 2 weeks ago with Tina to talk about some options that she's been exploring to supplement her income now that it's just been completely wiped out. But given that, you know, all tours, all festivals, and all clubs are shut down. Speaking of, you know, Dame, what you were saying when you gave that long ass intro, a lot of artists, a lot of musicians are transitioning over to live streaming platforms for concerts, for fan interaction, even DJ sets. And I almost feel like out of all the artists out there who are in bad positions now, DJs, I can't think of another population of or subpopulation of musicians that are more affected by this than DJs, simply because, you know, DJs rely more on the club atmosphere. You know, you're a singer, you can live stream and sing to people because you've written that music. You're having this, what feels like an intimate performance with whoever is viewing it. As a DJ, you can't really simulate through a live stream the party atmosphere, the feeling of being social, being around people, being shoulder to shoulder with somebody dancing in a club with the lights off and all that. It's very context dependent for most DJs, not all, but for most. So I think they're more, you know, and plus the majority of DJs are playing music that they themselves didn't write. So that's an added challenge. You know, how do you personalize your DJ set, especially when you're performing online? How are you conveying that energy that you normally convey when you're in a club setting or you're at a festival setting? Because the festivals are all getting canceled. I'm seeing festivals that are scheduled throughout the summer getting canceled. So given that, obviously there are DJs who are live streaming, there are rappers who are live streaming, there are singers who are live streaming. There is this new issue, this new elephant in the room about live streaming. Yes, we're encouraging it. Yes, we're seeing a lot of it happen, but there's this whole legal side of live performance that is now coming up in a way that it's never come up before. I don't know if you've considered that or talked to anybody about that, but, you know, especially the most obvious case would be a DJ playing a DJ set. That's a live performance. That's technically copyright infringement, right? Because if you're at a venue playing music as a DJ, that venue is supposed to be paying fees to all the PROs. Even if you're at a bar with a jukebox, right? That bar is paying the PRO fees. Otherwise, the PROs come in and shut people down. I've seen it happen. They've done it to even small festivals in the suburbs here, where they've shown up and evaluated whether or not there's music being performed, and then they issue a big fine, and then they got to pay thousands of dollars, and it's all bad. So my concern is, with the transition into streaming, how are we taking into account the licensing?
Well, I mean, I think that the music industry is always slow to catch up. But let me just first ask you, like, obviously you're a DJ and a producer. Like, let's just say, you know, one of your songs is streamed in Tory Lanez's live stream on IG, which is getting like, you know, hundreds of thousands of people watching. And let's just say a song of yours would play. Like, would you be upset and be like, oh man, I need some money from that? Like, how would you feel about it, knowing that, you know, and given it with, maybe it's just one song in an hour-long stream, live stream, how would you feel about that?
I personally wouldn't have an issue with it. That's an artist supporting another artist and giving me a platform. However, if I'm a record label, let's say I'm Universal, and Tory Lanez plays the new Drake, now there's an entirely different dynamic here, because the label knows that Tory Lanez has 100,000 people listening. So that's 100,000 times whatever master, whatever composition, whatever mechanical. It's basically, and this is, I read an article in Patreon, actually. And, you know, Patreon is another company, another platform that's kind of at the forefront now, given that it allows artists to gain monetary support from their fans at really small levels and in a way that they're able to support themselves from home, not necessarily having to tour or anything. And this is what the article says. And this is a journalist writing in the first person. This isn't me saying this. And the article reads, "What I want to drive home is that you cannot talk about the financial longevity of live streaming in the music business without also talking about rights. More specifically, because live streams sit at the intersection of recording and live performance, especially if the streams are archived after the fact." That's an important detail. "They can involve literally every kind of license in music: masters, mechanicals, sync, performance, trademark, name/likeness, the list goes on. It's actually a powerful lens for understanding how most of the music business works." I didn't even think about sync, but yeah, it's a sync technically because it's synchronizing audio to video. So that is kind of scary because you do have 3 to 5 different kinds of licenses, all being triggered at the same time when you play somebody else's song, or even when you play your own song on a live stream. So I think right now there's not any kind of major backlash. Not yet. Will there be? Well, this becomes a bigger conversation about when we think, or if we think things are going to go back to normal, right? Are the clubs going to reopen? Are the festivals going to reopen? If they don't, and I don't want to get into epidemiology and all that because I don't know shit about that. But you're hearing a lot of conflicting information out there. Some people are saying, this is going to go back to normal in July. Some people are saying, this is going to last another couple years. If it does last another year, even if it lasts another 6 months, this online streaming of concerts, of performances, of DJ sets is going to become a lot more prominent and a lot more common. And if we've learned anything about how the music business operates, the second things change, yes, they're slow about it, but once they figure it out, or the second they realize that they have to do something about it, they react in not always the best way, right? Like when the MP3 came out, how did the music business react? Sued Napster. When streaming came out, how did the music business react? They freaked out and resisted and dug their heels in. So with new streaming, my concern is that you have Harry Fox Agency dealing with mechanicals. You have Sound Exchange dealing with the master. You have ASCAP, BMI, SOCAN, CSAC, PRS, everybody dealing with the performance element. You have publishers dealing with the sync. You have all these different agencies that want their cut. And so what happens?
Me personally, I mean, it's a very complex issue. I personally don't think that anybody even listening to this podcast should even concern themselves with it, because I mean, they should understand why it's an issue. And if they get to a level of, because I still own masters in some of the music for Funk Volume, but our shit wasn't played on the radio. It was every once in a while be played in a stadium like Dizzy's Floyd Money Mayweather song and stuff like that. But there wasn't a lot of money coming from that. I personally feel that even us at a decent level, I was still just happy for the exposure that get. Like if Tory Lanez plays somebody's song on his platform, to me that's a benefit to whoever's song that was, just in terms of the exposure. Even if it's a label, and they play, Drake's new Tootsie Slide song, like I personally think that's a benefit to Drake, because people that like that song are now going to go to Spotify and save it and things like that. It's a very complex issue. And for most artists that are listening to this podcast, it's not much money. Like it's not much money, and it won't be much money. So understand what's going on, understand why it's an issue. And as you grow into those shoes and if it becomes a bigger monetary loss or a bigger monetary opportunity, then, maybe stress over it. But I personally am not stressed over it at all. I understand how complex it is though. And I understand the issue, but it's going to be a while before the music industry still doesn't know how to pay people. like what they're owed from royalties that have been royalties for the past century. Like,
but they know how to take that money and collect it for themselves. My point isn't that if you're an artist, you need to be concerned with Tory Lanez playing your record. My concern is that if you're an artist and you're doing what he's doing, or you're a DJ and you're doing what these bigger celebrities are doing, then you need to watch out, or you need to be on top of how these changes are going to affect you. No, of course not. If the kid down the street gets played on Tory Lanez quarantine radio, good for him. He doesn't need to be nickel and diming him for his publishing royalties. But for me, if I'm a DJ and I go on Instagram Live and do an hour-long set and it gets archived, what's going to happen to me? I didn't pay any ASCAP fees. I didn't pay any BMI fees. The labels didn't give me authorization to do that. So what could happen?
You've probably used samples before, like, and when you weren't supposed to, and maybe it was found out later. Like, what happened to you? Like, what happened to you? Like, the song just got taken down? Did you have to pay a lot of money? Did you go to jail? Like, what happened to you?
No, I went to prison actually for 5 years, but we saw Tory Lanez already get his account, or what happened to him? His streaming account was disabled. There's some feature of his account.
That was because he had girls' ass.
Yeah,
pouring milk on girls' asses. Like, that's that's what will probably happen. Like, you'll probably, like, there'll probably be some kind of content ID says, just like in YouTube right now, if you try to upload something, it won't let you upload. Maybe on a live stream, when it hears something that's not yours, it might cut off your live stream. And then there'll be libraries that you can use, kind of like on Twitch. Because when I was talking to Karen, I was like, well, because a lot of artists don't know what to do on live stream. They don't know how to create an entertaining live stream. They're like, oh, do I just have to perform all the time? When there's a lot of different things you can do. And I told him, I was like, we brought up the suggestion, like, if you're a movie buff, like, maybe you watching movies with your fans, right? And you can't, on a live stream, you can't just watch any movie. However, since Twitch is owned by Amazon and Amazon already has rights to a lot of movies, they have a library of movies that you can watch legally, right? So that's what I'm assuming will happen with music eventually. I mean, they're probably a year at least away from this, getting this right. And you'll have to pick from the music that's, legally licensed on the platform. That's probably where we're going with it.
Yeah, but right now, it's just, we're at a place where nobody knows yet. We're on the verge of a pretty major change. Just as we were in the era of Napster, just as we were in the era of MySpace, just as we were in the era of streaming, when all of that stuff started, there was a lot of confusion. And at the end of the day, the people who lost were the small-time creators who were participating in this new technology and in these new platforms, but didn't understand what the implications of their participation actually were, because there's all this extra legal stuff. It's not going to come horizontally. It's not going to come from my peers. It's not going to come from artists that are up and coming. It's going to come from these really large, powerful, all-seeing, all-reaching companies like UMG or like Sony, or whoever that has that level of reach that can create a content management system large enough to detect if you're live streaming and you're playing a new Drake record. And what are they doing? Are they monetizing it? Are they shutting you down? Are they suspending your account? We don't know yet. And it's kind of an exciting time because we don't know yet. So it's a good time for us not to panic, but to figure out exactly what, if nothing else, what all these different licenses are, what they mean, how they're paid out. So at very least, even if we're too afraid to participate in some of these, quarantine radio like streaming opportunities, we've still walked out of this situation knowing more about the music business than we did before.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's going to be super complex. It's a super complex licensing issue. What I think is more important, however, is that if you're an artist that wants to dip their toes in live streaming, is to just start in figuring out a structure or for your entertainment, or how you're going to entertain your fans, that you're comfortable with, that you can do on a regular basis, and that you can, hopefully grow an audience with. A lot of people have started turning to live streaming, but like I said, that's the number one question. Like, what should I do on live stream? As a rapper, are you just going to sit there and rap all day? Like, and if your catalog is not that big, are you going to feel comfortable like rapping the same songs every week? Like, what other things can we do on Twitch? Obviously, you can play games. A lot of cats play games. But what else is in your repertoire? What else is in your brand? Or, what else is part of your story that makes sense, to create an experience with your fans? But it's gonna suck for DJs. I mean, once that does, once they do have a way to cut your shit off because you're playing other people's stuff, it's definitely gonna suck for DJs. Unless the DJ is also a producer that's mixing, all their own records.
Some of those exist. It's not the majority.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, you got to figure out a way to be entertaining. And I know a lot of artists, and even with a lot of artists were already mad with social media. Like, I didn't sign up to be a social media expert, and I'm sure now they're like, I didn't sign up to be, a
streaming personality, a YouTube personality. I'm already hearing that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this the way the game evolves, right? Like, for the people that got mad at social media, I didn't sign up to be a social media, star or whatever. What can I tell you? Unless you got a team that does it for you, or your music is just that amazing that you don't really need social media, then music is just no longer for you. I don't know what to tell you. And live streaming is becoming, or has become, an important piece of your tool belt. Hopefully. Do
you have you taken any psych classes throughout your many years in college?
Psych classes?
Yeah, like psychology. What? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was I think it was at a community college during the summer. One year we took psychology. But why do you ask that?
I wonder what the psychology behind these artists who can go on stage and perform for 1,000 people, but have hangups about sitting in front of a webcam for an hour, because it's weird. I mean, there is this strange divide between those two arenas, and I see it happening with artists. They can be on stage, they can interact with people in the crowd, they can perform, they can turn up, they can be energetic, they can be personable in the context of a live performance. But then the second they put that camera in their face on Instagram Live, they just kind of freeze up. I mean, I think it's just understanding how that particular platform works, and how to interact with people, and what the best practices are. But a lot of that paralysis just comes from not even starting.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it is live streaming, or just being online live. It is kind of weird. I mean, it definitely took me a while to get used to. I don't know how it compares to performing on stage. I've never performed on stage. I mean, I've given presentations, but I've never, I'm not an artist, so I don't know what it feels like to like rock a crowd or whatever. But it's definitely a different experience. If I had to guess, I believe that like somebody like Hobson would prefer to just do the online thing as opposed to like the touring thing. But I think that has more to do with like just coming out of the house. Like, he grew up online, like he grew up on, doing stuff on Ustream and Livestream and MySpace and stuff like that. So I think every artist or every person is just going to be different, but you have to develop a certain level of comfortability, and eventually it gets a little easier. I mean, I'm not where I want to be, it's just something that you have to develop, just like you have to develop a stage presence, like you have to develop mic control and all the other things that you need to do to become a dope live performer. You have to develop certain skills to become a dope live streamer. Tory Lanez,
just think if like natural. MySpace had the live streaming capacity back then. I wonder how that would have changed things.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But it's different, especially because there's a lot of people online that just like to hide behind their posts and chat rooms and stuff back then. That
Yeah, they're all your friends on Facebook now, calling you a racist every 5 minutes.
Yeah, Facebook has to change. Well, they're definitely not my friends, but I just don't like the terms on social media, followers and friends, and because in real life I have a total different meaning of friends and stuff like that. But anyway, what are we, like 30 minutes in? The only other thing I wanted to talk about, and it could be super short, because obviously we're doing the Collab for the Crown contest right now, that if you didn't know, you have an opportunity to win $1,000 and a collaboration with King Crooked. And the entries are starting to come in. There's still only a few, so I'm expecting a lot more entries to come in over the next couple of weeks. And we've been getting a lot of and I've been getting a lot of inquiries about them. A lot of dumb questions, right? Like some.
Oh boy.
I know some people say there's no dumb questions. Yeah, there's definitely dumb questions. So if the contest is called Collab for the Crown, please don't message us asking us if you have to collaborate with someone else, right? Like, it's literally in the title of the contest. And if you watch the contest video or read the frequently asked questions or anything on the website, if you go to collabforthecrown.com, yes, you have to collaborate with someone else. Please do not, reach out to us asking a question like that.
Questions about the necessity of dental work are totally reasonable, though. Because the crown part is metaphorical. We don't actually mean a real crown either on your head or on your tooth.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I love these contests because it shows a lot of talent. And I really like the Collab for the Crown contest because I love when creativity clashes, with two or more different people. The downside of running these contests, however, is the customer service element. The questions that get asked, the issues that happen, like with the website or whatever. So that is a headache, but the positives always outweigh the negatives, and we'll keep it rocking. But if you haven't checked it out, go to collabforthecrown.com. And I guess that's a larger point too. Like, don't ask questions to people that you want to network with, or people that don't have much time, that are dumb questions, or questions that can easily be Googleable. I don't know if that's a word, but if you don't ask a question to somebody that has limited time that you can easily answer by going to a website or just putting in Google, that's ridiculous. Just like, and I said this before a couple weeks ago, just like a question can help start a relationship, a question can also hurt a relationship as well, if it's just ridiculous. So, be mindful of the questions that you're asking the people.
Yeah, we could have an entire episode on customer service. I'd probably.
Payne loves customer service.
I do.
Matter of fact, if you have any questions about the MEC, about Payne's Beats, about Collab for the Crown, about B Club, please message him on Twitter or Instagram, or shoot him a text. He loves the customer service element of the MEC. Right, Payne?
A long pause. I'm actually changing and giving even more with regard to customer service now after the BeatStars Summit, because that was a reoccurring theme. We had an entire panel about it, and that was with Brianna Marin and Dream Life, just talking about obviously addressing the elephant in the room, how people that contact us make our lives hell, but then ways to deal with it positively, ways to not react. I think we need support groups from peers. So not like if I'm talking to a friend of mine who has nothing to do with the music business, and I say, man, I don't know why all these rappers keep contacting me trying to buy out my publishing on a beat lease. They're not going to know what the hell I'm talking about. So I need to talk with other people like Brianna Marin and like Dream Life. So I do, and that helps me calm down, and then I can go back to that artist, and rather than be frustrating, just frustrated and combative, just be helpful and say, well, this is how it works. This is why I'm not going to offer you a publishing buyout on a beat license. And that came up in some of the other panels. And I'm pretty sure, matter of fact, let me pause, because we should be telling people. I'm talking about the BeatStars Summit, but some people didn't actually watch it, and some people didn't tune in. I think it's the archives that are available. You can watch the whole thing. It was like a 3-day thing that we partnered with BeatStars on, and I think the videos are up for free. Anyone can watch them. Is it still on the Summit page, Dame? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I know that they plan on, like, chopping some of the highlights up. I'm not sure where they're gonna put them, or if it's on their Twitch page, but
yeah, it might be on their Twitch page, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. I want to put some of them on my YouTube as well. But yeah, I got some good customer service suggestions from Tantu Beats, just to see some of the stuff that he does to appreciate the people that get his beats and make his love for music his livelihood. And I think that's important. I think of all the things that we don't want to do as musicians, as artists, outreach and appreciation to the people who are supporters of our art is top 3. I mean, we don't want to be on social media. We don't want to learn marketing, but we also don't want to be customer service reps, because some of us had positions before music where we had customer service, whether it was retail, whether it was actual, customer service via phone, whether it was tech support, whatever. That's something that we thought we would escape by becoming career musicians. And we were very, very, very wrong. Customer service is embedded in this life. We just call it fan outreach, or we call it fan appreciation, or we call it social media. But ultimately, it's just the same as customer service. So you got to figure it out and learn how to not be reactive.
Yeah, no, customer service is crucial. So I was thinking about, like, making a poster of, like, all of the different areas that artists are responsible for, like literally everything. Just have a visual representation, because it's a lot of shit. Like, it's literally several different businesses in one. But customer service is crucial. And I think a lot of artists that don't have good customer service have a very small lifetime value of their customer. And the lifetime value of the customer is essentially a dollar figure of how much that customer is worth to you. So, and you can easily shorten the lifetime value of one of your fans by having bad customer service, right? So if you send out a shirt and it's too small, and then they send it back, and you're like, well, F you, I said no refunds. Like, do you even if you get to keep the $25 from that shirt, do you think that person is ever going to buy something from you again, right? So let's just say you took the opposite approach and you said, oh, sure, I can swap this out for you, and I appreciate your support. So yeah, you might have taken, you might have had to eat the cost of that first shirt. It was like $8 or $9 or whatever, but that fan had a pleasurable experience, and they're going to buy the next shirt that they like on your website, right? And then the next shirt, and then the next shirt. So that lifetime value of that fan, now that had a good experience, is $100, as opposed to just the $15 you made on that shirt, that if you didn't give them a refund or didn't swap out the shirt, you just made $15, and that fan never bought from you again. So it can be a huge difference in how much money you make throughout your career if you have bad customer service. Hopefully that made sense. It made sense in my mind.
It made sense to me, and usually what you say is confusing to me. So let's end on that, because that was positive and informative. Collab for the Crown is still going on. www.collabforthecrown.com. Win $1,000 and a collaboration with one of the dopest rappers of our generation, King Crooked. Musicentrepreneur.club.com is how you sign up to actually be a part of our music business mentorship program. At DJ Payne 1, all social media. He's at Dame MEC, all social media. I believe that's your Instagram as well, right?
Yep. Instagram, dame.mec. Twitter is dame_MEC.
I had that completely wrong.
All good. Collab for the crown. Sign up, everyone.
All right. Till next episode. Be safe. Stay sane on
Peace.
quarantine. Peace.